reading talked about core values. What are the core values?
Integrity, first,
Respect, okay. And not just what are the individual ones, what are they, what do they do for us? What do we use the core values for? How do they help us?
She said build character.
They build character. They're also, they jog our memory and remind us to act honorably. And they're moral signposts guiding us through life. They said that a couple of times. Okay, so you have. Can you pull up the slide up? It has the core values, each of the core values. No, I know, there's one for each one. All right, well. Not down. All right, well, we already talked about them, so I guess. There we go. All right, so we should be on the. Go through until you get to, yeah. Okay, so our first one was integrity. How many of you saw the movie Hunger Games? Most of you, okay, so now when Katniss and Peeta keep their promise by working together. They promised each other they would help each other. There's one, next one. This is from Thor. Service. Heimdall faithfully guards Asgard for his king. That's his service. Excellence. How many of you watch Star Wars? Okay, some of you. Yoda's focus on the Force makes him a powerful Jedi Master, and he always strives to do his best. And respect. The Lord of the Rings, Gollum is a jerk, but Frodo still treats him with respect, and it actually helps him to accomplish his goal. All right, we can go on. Okay, the wingman concept. It can be hard to live up to our own personal sense of honor or core values. Therefore, it helps to have a trusted person to watch your back. In the Air Force, this special partner is called a wingman. The Pardo push. One of the coolest examples of the wingman concept in action is called the Pardo push. Two F-4 pilots, Bob Pardo and Earl Amon, had completed a tough air battle over North Vietnam. Amon's Phantom was badly injured and was unlikely to make it home. Amon didn't want to bail out because he'd be captured by the enemy. Bob Pardo knew he couldn't just leave his wingman to fend for himself. But how do you help someone in midair? Today we call it the Pardo push. Bob Pardo told the other plane to lower its tailhook. He then maneuvered his F-4 so that his windscreen touched the tailhook, thereby pushing the other plane. The maneuver slowed the other plane's rate of descent and enabled the crew to make it back to friendly territory. The Pardo push is an extraordinary heroic example of one wingman helping another. So, as a cadet, you don't have an F-4 to fly into your wingman's back end. What are some ways you can support your wingman in CAP? About physically, how can you help support them? What's something you can do to help support your wingman?
Make sure their uniform is,
Okay, yep, checking your uniform, checking each other's uniforms. What else? Physical safety.
Watch each other's backs, make sure you stay out of harm's way.
Okay, keep each other physically safe. What about when it's hot outside, like 4th of July when we were up in Clinton? What can you do to help your wingman stay safe there?
Push each other to keep yourself hydrated.
Okay, remind each other to drink water. Notice if they get hurt somewhere, and get help if they are. And helping each other, encouraging each other during PT. What about mentally? What can you do about when someone's giving you directions? Go ahead.
well, like mentally you can like support them.
Okay, support them, just make sure that you're following directions. Think through the problems with core values in mind. If they're encountering a problem, whether it's handicap before or after. You can help them think through problems. Stay optimistic. Call for help if your wingman seems depressed, angry, or sad, especially if for no good apparent reason. What about socially? How can you support your wingman? Nolan.
Keeping in contact with them and telling them what's going on in events.
Okay, so
If
keeping
they
in
don't
contact with them, especially if they've missed a meeting. About helping them make friends and get along, helping them fit in. So check out each other's Facebook page and help them to be smart about what they're doing, their online activities. Be a positive drug-free role model. And then Nolan said reminding about upcoming activities, especially if they've missed a meeting or two. All right, so we're moving on to safety. Wingmen are especially important when it comes to safety. As cadets, you'll do some awesome activities: flying, obstacle courses, wilderness training, rappelling, marksmanship training, etc. We're able to do those activities because we take the risks seriously. We think before acting so that no one gets hurt. We look out for one another's safety and sound the alarm if something looks wrong. We challenge cadets to act professionally, to act as serious-minded young adults, not as undisciplined kids. Especially when you're out in public, you're not supposed to be fooling around. You're supposed to act professional, act like young adults. So hazards. A hazard is a source of danger. You're walking around a busy flight line, whether it's just outside when we're doing drill, or if it's at a train X or somewhere else. Aircraft propellers and jet engines are spinning all around you. You see a lot of hazards. If you can think of it, it's a hazard. So in CAP, we try to develop the habit of using our imaginations to spot hazards. So use your imagination. A flight of cadets is going to the rifle range. What are the hazards and what are the risks? What's a hazard or a risk that there could be at a rifle range? No one.
People shooting randomly without paying attention where they're shooting.
Okay, that is definitely a hazard.
Not paying attention to where you're walking, so you can get harmed.
Right, so that kind of goes along with what Nolan's, not just someone else shooting randomly, not paying attention, but you need to be paying attention to where you're walking.
Loaded weapon, safety.
Okay, a loaded weapon without a safety on. Obviously, live ammo is obviously a hazard. Okay, so guns pointed in the wrong direction, someone walking down range when it isn't safe. What about your hearing? You weren't raising your hand? Well, what could happen to your hearing? Is there a hearing hazard?
Yes.
Yes, what is it? Go ahead, who said yes? Back there somewhere.
Grass, I think.
Grass. So what would be a hazard there?
When they're shooting their guns and it's like loud, you can like lose your hearing.
Okay, so you should make sure that you're always wearing ear protection.
Yeah.
Alright, so the goal is to use our imaginations and identify the hazards in everyday life before we begin an activity. So the ORM process. Like the Air Force, CAP cadets use a special process for thinking through potential risks, possible ways that someone could get hurt. We call the process operational risk management. For cadets, the multi-step ORM process boils down to two key questions. What could go wrong? Number one, and number two, can we protect ourselves? If the activity is simply too risky and there's no precautions available, safety gear, special training helpers, etc., then don't do it. Alright, go to the next one. Oh, no, there should be a different one, so go back one. Yeah, this one. Alright, so we have a flying lesson. A cadet walks into his local airport, goes up to the flight instructor and says, I want to learn how to fly. Sure, I'll teach you, but before we begin the lesson, your first lesson, I need your help. See that wheelbarrow over there, and see that pile of bricks? Load the wheelbarrow and carry them across that little footbridge to the other side of the gully. The cadet puts the handful of bricks into the wheelbarrow and begins to walk toward the bridge. No, that's not enough bricks, commands the flight instructor. Add some more. So the cadet adds more, and again starts moving toward the bridge. Don't be such a pansy. Add a lot more bricks. You can handle it, the instructor calls out. But the cadet objects. I don't know. It's hard to control a wheelbarrow that's overloaded. Besides, the footbridge is rickety and a sign says, caution, use at your own risk. Come on, kids, you wanna learn about flying or what? Load up that wheelbarrow. So the cadet adds more bricks. The wheelbarrow is really loaded down now, and it's hard to steer, but the cadet begins crossing the rickety old footbridge. All of a sudden, the footbridge collapses. Bricks are flying everywhere. The wheelbarrow is in the gully, and the cadet falls a few feet, landing in the mud. Congratulations, cadet. You've completed your first lesson about flying. Huh? If you don't think it's safe to do something, don't do it, no matter who is telling you to. So, referring to our two big questions for staying safe through risk management, what could go wrong in this situation? What could go wrong in that situation? Nolan?
The bridge collapsing and someone getting hurt.
Okay, obviously the bridge collapsed.
And
Someone did,
the possibility of bricks landing on the person.
Bricks could land on someone. Okay, so the cadet is probably lucky to have escaped unhurt. Go make, go ahead and make 9 copies of that one. Okay, could the cadet have protected himself?
Yes.
Yes, what could he have done?
Not loaded it up.
Okay, not loaded it up. He could have, taken small loads like he had originally had planned. What else could he have done?
Not taking a dangerous path.
Okay, he could have found another path around without taking the bridge.
And say if he knew it wasn't safe, just not do it.
Okay, so he should have heeded the warning sign that said use at your own risk. Okay, he could have just refused to do it. He could have tossed the bricks maybe across the gully. Okay, so how about the core values? Suppose the cadet thought about the core values before moving the wheelbarrow. Do you think that would have helped? Yes, how? How could it have helped thinking about the core values? What about integrity? How could integrity have helped him? Is it right to ignore a sign that says caution? No? Okay, so integrity would have caused the cadet to think twice and looked at it and said, look, this says caution, I should not go there. What about excellence?
Only if he wasn't gonna get the job done moving across the bridge.
Okay, so he should have realized if that bridge isn't safe, I'm not gonna get it done, so let's find a different way. So he could have tried to do, find the best way possible that was safe. Okay, so the bottom line is that the cadet should have stopped, taken a careful look at the situation, thought through the risks, and then made smart decisions. And as a pro-safety young aviator, the cadet should have valued safety more than pleasing the instructor. So it's like the instructor said, if it's not safe, don't do it, no matter who's telling you to do it. All right, so knock it off. If we want cadets to think before acting, that means CAB has to give cadets the power to make decisions. Okay, who has their new cadet guide? No one. No one has their new cadet guide. No, do we have one in here? There's a copy of the page. No, no one has their new cadet guide? Well, I bet it's still, pretty current.
What?
Ralph, can you get in this drawer right here and hand me a new cadet guide, please? The blue one? Yep, right there. Thank you. All right, on page 4 in your new cadet guide, if you have one, which no one's letting you do, there's a section here that says knock it off. If you see something that does not look safe to you, speak up. Any cadet may sound the Air Force command, knock it off, if he or she thinks someone might get hurt. When you hear knock it off, immediately stop what you're doing and await further instructions. Safety is serious business. No one wants to get hurt, and if someone is injured, the team might not complete its mission. Pay special attention to what your wingman is doing and how he or she looks or feels, because you have special duty to keep your wingman safe. All right, safety officer. Our senior safety officers at this time, I believe, are Lieutenant McKenzie and Lieutenant Carmichael. I don't know if we have a cadet safety officer.
Not technically.
Okay, so we don't have one specifically assigned right now. When cadets are doing anything rough and rugged or hazardous, like flying, wilderness training, obstacle courses and stuff like that, even when we're doing PT, if we're doing a run outside, a CAP safety officer will be on the scene. Expect the safety officer to give you a briefing about that day's activities and what you need to do to stay safe. If you have questions about safety or have ideas on how to keep your wingman safe, your safety officer wants to hear from you. In a way, everyone is a safety officer because everyone is supposed to look out for one another's safety. All right, cadet protection. Wingmen are also needed to keep an eye out in case anyone is trying to hurt them. If you think your wingman is being abused, speak up. Tell any adult you trust without regard to the chain of command. So if you think something's going on with your wingman, whether it's at home or school or somewhere else, you do not have to tell your element leader, who then would tell the first sergeant, who then would tell the deputy commander, who would tell the cadet commander, who goes to the adults. You can go to any adult that you trust. You do not have to go up the chain of command. If it's a safety issue, you need to tell someone.